Saturday. Miami was sunny as always. Rudy Eugene, a 61-year-old man, drove to the beach and his Chevrolet broke down. After staying at the scene for more than 30 minutes, Rudy abandoned the car and walked west. He stripped off his clothes and driver's license during the walk. At 1:55 p.m., Rudy met an old homeless man called Ronald Popo, but no one accepted what's next. The street camera showed an 18-minute video to record everything, not a robbery or a fight. Rudy was biting Ronald's face like a zombie. When the police arrived, Ronald's face had been biting off 18%, and Rudy was still biting frantically until the police killed him. After forensic investigation, the reason why Rudy became like a zombie is a neurological disorder caused by drug. His body temperature was over 40 degrees and showed a strong tendency to be aggressive and self-harm. Why? His brain tissue and nervous system had been destroyed by drugs. His body is being controlled by variant nerve center. Fortunately, it won't be contagious to the human. If not, the zombie crisis will not just be a movie. But in reality, there's a case of nerve center variant infection, the zombie deer. In 1976, Colorado, people found some deer in the wild became unstable, drooling, pupil dilate, and slow. These deer are not afraid of humans and not only attack the same kind, but even attack people. Deer which have been attacked also have the same symptoms. However, since it will not be transmitted to humans, it didn't attract enough attention at first. Later, zombie deer also appeared in Canada, South Korea, and other countries, and more zombie deer cases were reported in the United States. In 2019, zombie deer appeared in 24 states in the United States and Canada. These red markers are areas where more than 25% of deer have been infected, and the infection rate in some key areas are almost 18%. This virus that infects deer is called a prion. The zombie deer is caused by the outbreak of prion in the herd. With the current understanding of prions, there's no cure for this disease. Prions will attack the brain and nerve center of the infected animal, making the animal unable to control its body, and eventually, the body will be taken over by a variant nerve center. The main route of transmission of prions is by eating the meat of infected animals. The deadliest thing is the incubation period of prions is as long as 1 year. This means a hunted deer looks healthy, but prions are already in the vanishing. After research by scientists, it was discovered the prions on these zombie deer are difficult to transmit to humans. Even humans carry prions, they will not get sick. So, the prions on those zombie deer have only spread among the deer, and there has been no case of infection to humans. But in the UK, the situation has changed. 2012, Annie McVie, a mother told her daughter Claire's story on BBC. At Christmas last year, Annie prepared a gift for her daughter. Claire was very happy after opening the gift. This is a pair of sneakers she dreams of. But before that winter was over, Claire would never wear these shoes again. Annie asked Claire if her shoes were too small. Claire replied, "No, I just don't feel stable when wearing the shoes." When the winter was over, Claire not only couldn't stand still, she often fell over for no reason. After being sent to the hospital for an examination, the doctor said it was a new variant crucified Jacob disease. Claire, she never stood up since then, and the doctor were helpless. Claire finally passed away in pain. The NVCJD has another name that more people know, the mad cow disease that infects people. Mad cow disease is also caused by prions, like zombie deer. Prions make cows crazy. In 1996, the Scottish newspaper Daily Mirror reported the first human case of mad cow disease. As of 2012, more than 170 cases have been reported in the UK, and more than 50 cases have been reported in the other parts of the world. After 2012, the government began to attach importance to medical disease. A 2012 study conducted by the UK Health Protection Agency showed 1 out of every 2,000 British people has signs of carrying abnormal prions. There are more than 400,000 tons of cow carcasses infected with prions waiting to be processed in the UK so far. They are placed in a secret warehouse across the country. The processing is very troublesome. First, the cows must be completely cooked in boiling water, pounded into mash, and burned into ashes in a 1,000-degree incinerator. It will take at least 4 years to completely incinerate these cows. Why is it so hard to deal with mad cows? This is the most terrible thing about prions, which is prions are not a virus at all. Early 1950s, cruel disease broke out in the virgin forest of the South Pacific, and the 4 people living here are primitive tribes that rarely communicate with outside civilizations. The local government reported a strange disease is breaking out among these people. The patient was ginger, troubling, have a fever, can't speak, lose control of their body, and finally die in the endless dance. Cru means troubling in the language of the tribe. After studying cru disease, scientists thought this is a genetic disease unique to 4 people and is not contagious. But there is a scientist named Daniel Carlington Gaddisick who thinks this disease is likely to be contagious. He decided to go deep into the primal forest to investigate the cause of the disease. After Daniel entered the forest, he studied the body of patients with cruel disease. He didn't isolate any species deadly microorganisms such as virus, bacteria, and fungi. Daniel continued to investigate the local people's diet and water source, but still didn't find any strange. He wondered if there were some heavy metals in the soil, and the test results still showed nothing unusual. Then Daniel lived with 4 people, carefully observing every detail, but he still didn't find anything. While living in the tribe, he used modern science to help 4 people solve many problems. Although some people still died of cruel disease, but he showed no signs of infection. When he was about to give up, a crucial event happened: the sacrifice. One of the elders in the tribe passed away due to cruel disease. Daniel was also allocated a part of the elder's brain because of his contribution to the tribe, but he quietly saved this part of the sample and returned to the lab. He found no virus in elder's brain. Then he implanted this part of the brain into a brain of a healthy gorilla. After some time, the gorilla developed symptoms of cruel disease. He once again filtered out the possible microorganism and virus in the sample, leaving only protein particles and transplanting into the brain of another healthy gorilla, which still infected the gorilla with cruel disease. Daniel took the brain sample of the gorilla and divided it into 2 parts. The first part followed the same steps to extract the protein particles, and the other part was treated with protease to change all the proteins. The results of the experiment showed the first sample infected and the second sample didn't. So, Daniel found out cruel disease is caused by an unknown pathogen, which is neither a microorganism or a virus. Finally, in 1982, scientist Stanley Prushner provided this unknown pathogen is the protein itself and named it prion. What is protein? In short, it is meat. Protein is the most basic organization that constitutes carbon-based life. 2 scientists, Daniel and Stanley, won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1976 and 1997 for their research on prions. The modern scientific attaches great importance to prions because they are so special. It's different from everything called life on Earth. Because prions have no genetic material, they are just a bunch of proteins, but they can keep genetic information through different folding forms of proteins. This genetic information allows prions to show like real life, such as reproduction and mutation. The specific manifestation of this virtual feature is that people are infected after eating food with prions. Prions will stay latent in the patient's body for a long time, and the incubation period is very long. Maybe they will not even get sick for life. However, once the disease happens, the patient's nerve center can variant, become low in IQ, out of control, and eventually die in madness. It's not yet certain whether humans will be crazier than animals after being infected with prions, just like the Miami zombie Rudy Eugene. After prions infected different species, their symptoms are different. 4 people's Creux disease and Claire's new variant Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease are relatively mild. Mad cow and zombie deer are even crazier. Because prions are completely beyond our understanding of life, any drugs developed for life are useless against it, including our immune system. Most disinfection water and disinfection method are also effective, even heated to 600 degrees, radiation and high-intensity ultraviolet rays. As long as the protein structure is not destroyed, prions are still alive. The effective way is to completely incinerate it or use high-strength protein denaturing agents to melt it. Based on our understanding of prions, we can speculate that no matter it is a human body, brain, bacteria, or cells, as long as there is a protein, there may be prions. Although we don't know much about prions, it's clear that prions will not break out easily. There's only one known cause of the outbreak, and that is cannibalism, which means eating the flesh of one's own species. The cause of the outbreak of mad cow disease is very likely that some business processed dead cows into feed and fed it to normal cows to save protein feed. About 40,000 years ago, a prions crisis might have broken out once. Today, each one of us, our ancestors survived the Asian virus outbreak, or they were the survivors of a global zombie crisis. Almost every one of us has a gene called PRNP on chromosome 20, which is officially used to resist prions. The Asian humans without this gene were all extinct in Asian zombie crisis. Therefore, we discovered the creepy fact: the outbreak of the Asian zombie crisis was triggered by a habit of cannibalism in Asian humans. Fortunately, our ancestors restrained this habit and at the same time evolved the PRNP gene on chromosome 20, which allowed us to multiply to these days. Perhaps this is the reason that most humans have a soul-derived fear of cannibal tribes, because this fear was recorded in our genes 40,000 years ago.